Free thinkers, we're free. Here's what we do. We can take some classes, affect the masses. There's no excuse. You've been loosed.
This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Come on in. I welcome you today. I welcome you tonight, this evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. My name is Janice Pons. I say welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining in on this show, on this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity. Clinical perspective, spiritual truths. Now, you know, my heart is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and us together being pointed towards intervention. And that's going to look a whole lot of different ways. There are various options when it comes to intervention. Sometimes it's just talking to somebody. Sometimes it's redirecting our thought patterns. Sometimes we need to submit ourselves to a therapeutic process. Sometimes we need to go to the doctor and get a checkup. Yeah. So there are just so many different ways that we can begin to think differently, support each other so we can be well. You know why we can be well? Because we want to form a more perfect union in the constitutional republic of the United States of America. I'm going to be saying that over and over again, just as much as I say provoke thought, bring awareness, and us collectively together going towards intervention to form a more perfect union, which means we're flowing together as one as we symbolically look at this beautiful flag. That's our flag. This is our seal. That is our house on Pennsylvania Avenue. And we are going to hold some people accountable in this great nation, because I know and you know that we're not operating, not yet, at our optimal level, but things are subject to change. Now, speaking of things being subject to change, you know, last month, during the month of August, it was all focused on children and youth. And as it turned out, we ended up flowing into the specificity of our middle schoolers. That's a crucial age. Now, don't forget that Janice Pons said middle schoolers. You're going to hear more about that. There are going to be some observable, measurable, very powerful things unfolding in the constitutional republic of the United States of America, because there are those of us who I know includes many of you, millions of you, that want to partner with us in prayer, if nothing else. But that is first and foremost in prayer, because we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that looks like something. And when America is flowing in that way, in that more perfect union, it affects the whole world. We've proven that historically. So there have been enemies of our souls, the soul, the heart of this nation that has come for the jugular vein. But let me tell you what, just as sure as that's happening and has happened, there are those that are rising up and are making a stand and saying, we love our country. I love my fellow citizens. We are past this thing being about political parties per se, in terms of the dynamics that have been presented to us. This is about saving America. Now, specifically talking about saving America, we're going to dive into something tonight because, like I said, last month we talked about children. This month, we're going to dive into an issue that is taking out many of our precious citizens prematurely. When I say taking out, I'm meaning they are succumbing to death, and it is totally preventable. It's totally preventable. So when we're looking at issues and topics related to destruction and collectively banding together in unity, power, love, being one nation under God. This flag representing us, those stars on the flag represent the states. Those stars represent states. The states represent communities and cities and households and families and schools. And I'm telling you what, I remember a time when America was in a flow where we're in this thing together. And guess what? We're still there together. And the enemy of our soul is trying to get us off of that more perfect union, flowing together as one. But he's the father of lies and the truth has never been in him. And so there are truth brokers like me and others that we're going to stand up for this nation because we're proud to be Americans. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. For it ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. If we are standing up, fighting for what's right, liberty and justice for all in this great nation, we are going to dive in to flowing together to address some specific issues. And tonight, there is a segment of our population that is at high risk, and it is women. Whoa, Janice Barnes, what do you mean? Women. Okay, let's get more specific. Tonight, we're going to examine America's women dying because of alcohol. America's women dying because of alcohol. What a supposedly socially acceptable activity to engage in. Drinking. A little beer, a little wine, a little mixed drink. Yeah. Not hurting anybody. Or is it? There is an increasing number of women dying in our great nation of alcohol-related causes. Now, let's frame some things as we endeavor to flow in specificity. We have to have a bigger framework because there's a study that's been done that I went, huh? What did that say hot off the press? Of course, it caught my attention. Now, when we talk about women dying from alcohol, they end up becoming alcoholic. They don't sign up for it. However, you end up, women specifically, end up having a physiologic dependence to a mind-altering substance. So, what is alcoholism? What are symptoms of being an alcoholic? Now, one thing is being unable to limit the amount of alcohol you drink. In spite of your best effort, you can't limit it. You want to, but you can't. Wanting to cut down on how much you actually drink, but you're just unsuccessful in your attempts. In your mind's, okay, I'm just going to cut back. I'm not, instead of drinking a half a gallon of Jack Daniels, I'm just going to drink a quart. Oh, instead of drinking 90 beers a day, I'm just going to drink a 6-pack. They can't do it because of their levels of tolerance. They go into withdrawal. And the bottom line, people can get to the point where they have to drink to feel normal. Spending a lot of time drinking. Your time is consumed in planning it. Everything's around drinking. Getting alcohol or recovering from alcohol use. You're actually in recovery. You don't feel good. You're waking up. You're hungover. You're sick. I've dealt with hundreds of people in my career. And I'm here as a citizen tonight because we're citizens together in this great nation. And we want to form a more perfect union. And that's us flowing together as one. So if we have a group of women in our nation that are hurting and suffering such as this, need we talk about it? Yeah. This is from destruction to dignity. We want to help these precious sisters to go from a destructive pattern to a pattern of dignity. God sees them as great, and so does Janice Pons, and so do you. Some of you have overcome alcoholism. You might want to put your comments, your thoughts in the comments. How did you do it? What really worked for you? Yeah. Feeling a strong craving or urge to drink alcohol. These are signs and symptoms of one being an alcoholic. Most often, alcoholics are in denial for a long period of time. And D-E-N-I-A-L-D, don't even, N, no, I-am-A-M-L, lying. Don't even know I am lying. Or don't even notice. Let's put it that way. Don't even notice. D-E-N-I-A-L. Don't even notice. I am lying. The National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism defines heavy drinking for men and women in different ways. For men, it's consuming more than 4 drinks on any given day or more than 14 drinks per week. That's a lot of drinking, 14. But for women, it's consuming more than 3 drinks a day on any given day, or more than 7 drinks per week. Do you see the difference in comparison with men and women? So we're talking about America's women dying because of alcohol. So if they're dying, we're talking about mortality. So what is the average life expectancy of women in America? I was surprised to learn this. Basically, a healthy woman in America, the average life expectancy is 81.6 years. 81.6. And for men, it's 73.2. This is staggering. Listen to this. Here's what's been concluded. Is that people that are hospitalized with alcohol use disorder, they have an average life expectancy for men of 47 to 53 years old. And their life expectancy, if they're healthy, is 73 years. But if they're dealing with an alcohol use disorder, 47 to 53, they're gone. Women who have a life expectancy of, 81 years, 81.6, guess how long they live? To be 50 to 58 years old. So basically, women in our great nation are dying 24 to 28 years earlier than people in the general population. Houston, I think we got a problem. So, there was a study done. The JAMA Network Open. The JAMA Network Open study. JAMA stands for the Journal of American Medical Association. Listen, these think tanks, they have some good information. They give us trends. They give us things. They give us considerations, information that they gather based upon studies that they do. They can be very helpful to someone as myself I've been in behavioral health going on 44 years now. I look at that. I can use that to help me formulate a successful treatment program, and I have done that. One program that I put together for substance abuse treatment, I've said this before, after going through a 30-day program that I rigorously put together, 87% of the people were clean and sober and gainfully employed 6 months later. People said, oh, you don't get nobody gets those kind of results. Well, I did. And to God be the glory. How? He told me exactly what to do, but I looked at trends. I looked at different disciplines. There's a multimodal approach that can make you successful. And this has to do with the healthcare. It has to do with the wellness of our nation. We want our precious citizens to go from destruction to dignity. So women in the United States are dying of alcohol-related causes at a faster rate than men. According to this new study, the JAMA Network Open Study. So the study tracked deaths for 20 years. Now listen to this. The most drastic rise occurred in the last 3 years. That is a trend that is across the board. Since COVID turned the world upside down, every trend, suicide, increase in drinking, increase in divorce, increase in domestic violence, all of it has skyrocketed. Increase in deaths from fentanyl. This whole month we're covering addiction because it is ravaging our precious citizens. And those that have overcome in those areas or don't even have those issues at all, we want them to get well. That's a part of their healthcare right. So this JAMA Network Open study showed that from 2018 to 2020, there was an increase of 14.7% of women in our great nation dying from alcoholism and alcohol-related diseases. So the person that was in charge of this study, the researcher, Dr. Ibrahim Karari, who is the assistant professor of population health and director of the health science program at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. This was the person that was over this study. And while alcohol-related deaths in men rose as well over that 3-year period of time, their rise was 12.5%. So everybody's rising. But the women was 14.7, let's round it off, 15%. So women are drinking more. Logic and deductive reasoning leads us to that. They're engaging in more high risk drinking. And so therefore it would logically happen. Logic would let us know that there would be an increasing development of alcohol use disorders. Using a Centers for Disease Control and Prevention database, that's where they got this data from. So they looked at it from 1999 to 2020, 21 years. And this is where this 15% increase in deaths in our great nation emerged. During those years, more than 605,000 alcohol-attributed deaths were identified. That's a lot of Americans. That's just staggering to me. Do you know in that number, my brothers, it just hit me. I have 2 brothers that are in those numbers. My God. Yeah, they're in those numbers. 605,000 alcohol-attributed deaths. They end up getting cirrhosis of the liver, then it went into cancer of the liver. My precious, they were amazing, sweet guys, but we didn't know what was going on. Oh, God, help us. Yes, you are helping us. Thank you. Dr. Karari said that we found that there were 3 different segments of trends in women. The rates increased slowly, then it picked up. So in 99 to 2007, there was a 1% increase. Listen to this. From 1999 to 2007, a 1% increase in deaths. From 2007 to 2018, it was a 4.3% increase. From 2018 to 2020, 14.7, let's round it off to 15%. Our precious women are in trouble. So Dr. Karari said, well, you know, this study that we're doing, this is alarming. Looking at this pattern over a 20-year period of time in our great nation, she said it's descriptive. Dr. Karari said this is descriptive. It tells us the what, but it does not tell us the why. Now, I have immediate thoughts about the why. Why is there being such a huge increase in women dying? Now, let's jump because it's just so much I could just dive into here. Now, there was a review by Mayo Clinic. Researchers found that women, and it's connected here, okay? Women are increasingly affected by liver disease linked to alcohol, and they develop more severe disease at lower levels of drinking than do men. Women, our bodies are different. Our chemistry, we have hormones, we have our makeup, our chemical makeup, our hormonal makeup is different. Among other factors was increase in obesity. Hello? Which worsen the increase in obesity, worsen the liver damaging effects of alcohol. That's a contributing factor. Now listen to this. This really got me. They took a deeper dive, and the data for that 20-year period of time showed that for our American Indian or Alaska Native women, there was a 22.8% increase in deaths. 23, let's round it off, 22.8, 23%. Here are the reasons. Let's go to the core. Differences in metabolism. And it's a known fact. Research has shown that Native Americans, their metabolism is different. It's just genetically different. Differences in metabolism, impact of hormones, and increasing prevalence of obesity, and with bariatric surgery in women. Listen, the bottom line with bariatric surgery, I've seen that in treatment settings. When they got that surgery, they often became more prone to alcoholism. Why? The blood alcohol level peak. It peaks higher and takes longer to return to normal due to altered metabolism. So, here we go. Signs of alcoholism in women. Drinking more than planned. Yeah, I'm just going to drink a little bit. No, you end up drinking a whole lot. Unable to cut down or control alcohol consumption. A lot of time spent managing alcohol. Yeah, drinking regardless of the outcome. Got children, you're not even thinking about the safety of the children, okay? Cravings to drink. Okay, we're talking about, wait a minute, some of you may go, wait a minute, baby, are you alcoholic? I've been telling you we need to take a closer look at that. Yeah, you may even be thinking yourself, wait a minute, I might have an issue here. Cravings to drink alcohol. Now, I want to go ahead and shift here because I want to make sure that we get some things in. So there are specific signs and symptoms that go along with alcoholism: neglecting responsibilities. You're focusing on drinking regardless of the consequences. It just goes on and on and on. But the bottom line is causing problems in your life. Now let's look here at this visual. I love this visual. It's going in my next book. I'm believing it won't have anything in it political. God, I don't want anything in it political. I just want it to be all clinical. Book number 3. Okay. So the stages of addiction: early, middle, and late. Now, if you're dealing with addiction or those that are, have them to look at this because it's going to help empower them with knowledge. Knowledge is power. Get understanding. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. But in all that getting, get understanding. And knowledge gives us understanding. So there's stages of addiction: early, middle, and late. Early stage addiction is also lined up. We could say it's recreational use. You're going to happy hour. No big problem. We're just having a cold one after work on Friday because we worked really hard and we deserve it. That's the kind of thinking. Now, you'll easily go from 1 beer to 2 beer to 3 beers. I've met 3 people that drink 90 a day. Oh, I've seen the pictures of the cans. Oh, okay. We're getting into a lot of other behavioral factors there, compulsions and impulse, just a lot of things. A lot of treatment is needed there. And I've seen them get well. early stage, but it's social, recreational. Now, when you start drinking, you don't sign up for your body having a physiological magnetism to want more. But let me tell you, something starts to kick in where you just you want another buzz. Hey, I'll get the next round. So you end up drinking more and you end up in middle stage addiction or substance abuse. In that stage, the bottom line, you become driven by addictive thinking, which equals addictive behavior, which equals insanity. And we know insanity means you're doing the same thing over and over again, really expecting different results, but it doesn't happen. Because in that middle stage or substance abuse stage, you're starting to have problems. Relationships are being affected. You're late getting to work. Your attitude changes. You start to get depressed because alcohol is a depressant, And then without even knowing it, you can just easily end up in late stage addiction, sometimes because of a genetic predisposition. Some people, the moment they drink, they are just like out the gate running and cannot stop. So late stage addiction, which is substance dependence, is you're dependent on it. How do you know you're there? Tolerance. You have to have more to get the desired results. Withdrawal. You feel sick. You have to drink to feel normal. Loss of control is self-explanatory. Blackouts. You don't even remember what you did. How many young women have I talked about? They woke up. They didn't know where their panties were. They were naked. They don't even have a clue what happened, but they were drunk. But they can't remember anything that happened. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe that's something we need to dissect together, sweetheart. DTs, delirium tremens, where you're having psychosis, substance-induced psychosis, body rot. Your body's literally rotting. Pancreatitis, esophageal cancer, cirrhosis of the liver, cancer of the liver, all caused by alcohol. The bottom line, this is all going to lead to jails, institutions, and death, or rehab, recovery, and wellness. What does Janice push? Rehab, recovery, and wellness, because at the bottom, we see that everything that I do related to addiction is going to lead to it being about life or death, sobriety or addiction. However, there's always this cesspool that's always going to be churning to suck you back in of justification, manipulation, and rationalization, while you can always go back and take one more drink. So over there at the other blue box, one thing that can help you kind of assess things immediately: frequency, intensity, duration. Frequency, how often are you drinking? How often is a person, your loved one, drinking? Intensity, how much? Duration, how long? Am I talking to a 60-year-old man that's been drinking hard liquor since he was 16 and getting help for the first time? Or am I talking to an 18-year-old who's has been drinking hard for the last 6 months? It all affects what you do and how you approach it. So those stages of addiction help us to locate people and locate our precious fellow citizens and where they are. Listen, what we're looking at tonight are America's women who are dying from alcohol. It is at an unprecedented level. We're talking about Native American women. It's upwards to 22% and going up, and women across the board in our great nation being at 15%. And we know the metabolism and the obesity, the hormones is affecting it. So what does that say? What does that say? I am respectfully submitting that we need to expand our scope of intervention. I want to respectfully submit, I appeal to employers. What would happen in our great nation as we form a more perfect union where we are flowing together as one, that we include in employee benefits package a membership to the spa, a membership to the gym? Because what will happen? People will have access to exercise classes, nutrition counseling, and you'll have maybe more healthy employees. They will be free from addiction. What about support groups? We have such a powerful pool pool of resources in our great nation. And all we have to do is plug the people into it. This is why I get tripped out about churches that don't talk about this kind of thing. You got the people right there in front of you, and they are ravaged with it. And a lot of times we're like like an ostrich with their head in the sand. Yeah, and we got the undivided attention of these people. Their children, they're being ravaged. What are we looking at? These precious women that I love. I am a woman, and I have embraced a lifestyle of fitness, a gym membership. I've lost about 44 pounds since January. I am happy about that. You know why? I got nutrition counseling. I work out regularly. I am glad to be able to have the activities of my limbs. What we're talking about, we want our citizens to feel better about themselves. So let's be proactive, because as we go from destruction to dignity, I am saying that we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we want to be well. We want to have a sense of dignity as we go together and go forward. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
Affirmation, dedication, information, revelation. A new nation.